A young girl with healing hands, a greedy prophet who steals her powers. Can a mother uncover the truth before it's too late?
Nia woke up to the sound of her mother, Amaka, humming softly. It was a peaceful morning in the small village of Umudike. Birds chirped, and the sun peeked through the tall palm trees. But this was no ordinary day. Nia felt a strange energy in her hands. She looked at them, confused, as they glowed with a soft, golden light. Amaka noticed her daughter's glowing hands and rushed to her side. "Nia, what's happening to you?" she asked, her voice trembling. "I don't know, Mama," Nia replied. "It just started this morning." Amaka's heart pounded. She had heard stories of children with special powers, but she never thought her own daughter would have them. She decided to keep it a secret, fearing what the villagers might say. Days turned into weeks, and Nia's powers grew stronger. She could heal animals, plants, and even people. One day, a young boy fell from a tree and hurt his leg badly. Nia touched his leg, and within seconds, the boy was running around as if nothing had happened. The villagers started whispering about the little girl with healing hands. Amaka's fear grew. She worried that someone might harm Nia, or that her powers would bring trouble. She decided to seek help from a prophet she had heard about in a nearby village. His name was Prophet Odili, and people said he could perform miracles. Amaka took Nia on a long journey to see Prophet Odili. When they arrived, the prophet welcomed them with open arms. He listened to Amaka's concerns, and then asked to see Nia's powers. Nia hesitated but finally agreed. She touched a sick woman, and the woman was instantly healed. Prophet Odili's eyes gleamed with greed. He knew that with Nia's powers, he could become rich and famous. He pretended to pray over Nia, but instead, he stole her powers. Nia felt a sharp pain, and then collapsed, unconscious. Amaka screamed, "What have you done to my daughter?" Prophet Odili smiled wickedly. "I have freed her from the burden of her powers. She will be fine." But Nia did not wake up. Amaka took her lifeless daughter back home, weeping all the way. The villagers tried everything to revive Nia, but nothing worked. Amaka and her husband, Chima, were devastated. Meanwhile, Prophet Odili's ministry grew. People flocked to him for healing, not knowing that his powers were stolen. He became wealthy, but his heart remained cold and cruel. Back in Umudike, Amaka and Chima didn't give up. They searched far and wide for a way to bring their daughter back. They met wise elders, medicine men, and even other prophets, but no one could help. One night, while Amaka was praying, a mysterious old woman appeared. She had a kind face and a gentle voice. "I know what happened to your daughter," she said. "Prophet Odili stole her powers, but there is a way to restore them." Amaka's heart filled with hope. "Please, tell me what to do." The old woman handed Amaka a small glowing stone. "This is a stone of truth. Take it to Prophet Odili's ministry and place it under his chair. It will reveal his true nature and return your daughter's powers." Amaka and Chima set off on the journey again, determined to save Nia. They arrived at Prophet Odili's ministry and found it crowded with people. They waited until nightfall and then sneaked inside. They found Prophet Odili's grand chair and carefully placed the stone of truth underneath it. Instantly, the room filled with a blinding light. Prophet Odili screamed as his true nature was revealed to everyone present. His stolen powers left him and returned to Nia. Nia, still unconscious, began to glow with the same golden light she had before. Her eyes fluttered open, and she sat up, gasping for air. "Mama, Papa," she cried, hugging her parents tightly. The villagers, shocked by Prophet Odili's deception, turned against him. He was banished from the village, and all his wealth was taken away. Back in Umudike, Nia's powers were stronger than ever. But now, her family knew to protect her and use her gift wisely. Amaka and Chima were overjoyed to have their daughter back. The village celebrated, and Nia became a symbol of hope and healing. However, this was just the beginning of Nia's journey. Little did they know, a greater challenge awaited them, one that would test their faith, courage, and the true power of Nia's gift. Stories of her miraculous recovery and incredible healing abilities spread far and wide. People from neighboring villages came seeking Nia's help. While Nia's parents tried to protect her, they couldn't turn away those in desperate need. One day, a wealthy merchant named Okoye came to the village. He was accompanied by his sick daughter, Ada, who was gravely ill. Okoye begged Amaka and Chima to let Nia heal her. Nia, feeling compassion for Ada, agreed. She placed her hands on Ada, and within moments, Ada's color returned, and she sat up, healthy and strong. Okoye was overjoyed, and offered Nia's family a large sum of money as a token of gratitude. Amaka and Chima refused, but Okoye insisted, leaving them with a generous gift. This act of kindness further spread Nia's fame, and soon, even more people came to Umudike. As Nia continued to heal others, Prophet Odili, now living in exile, grew envious. He couldn't bear the thought of Nia's powers flourishing while he had nothing. Driven by jealousy and anger, he sought out a powerful sorcerer named Ekweme, known for his dark magic. Prophet Odili promised Ekweme great wealth if he could find a way to reclaim Nia's powers. Ekweme, intrigued by the challenge, agreed. He crafted a sinister plan to deceive Nia and her family. One evening, Ekweme disguised himself as a humble healer and visited Umudike. He approached Amaka and Chima, offering his services to help protect Nia from any future threats. Grateful for the assistance, they welcomed him into their home. Ekweme began to gain their trust by performing small miracles and helping around the village. He waited patiently for the right moment to strike. One night, while everyone was asleep, Ekweme crept into Nia's room and cast a dark spell on her. Nia woke up the next morning feeling weak and unable to use her powers. Her parents were frantic with worry. Ekweme pretended to be concerned and suggested they take Nia to a sacred shrine deep in the forest, claiming it would restore her strength. Desperate to save their daughter, Amaka and Chima agreed. They set off on the journey with Ekweme leading the way. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the atmosphere grew tense. Strange noises echoed around them, and the air felt thick with magic. At the shrine, Ekweme revealed his true intentions. He chanted an incantation, attempting to transfer Nia's powers to himself. But Nia, despite her weakened state, resisted with all her might. The shrine's ancient guardians awoke, sensing the dark magic at play. A fierce battle ensued. The guardians, towering beings of light and energy, fought against Ekweme's dark magic. Amaka and Chima stood by Nia, shielding her from harm. In the midst of the chaos, Nia's inner strength surged. She realized that her powers came not just from her hands, but from her heart and spirit. With a burst of golden light, Nia unleashed her true potential. Ekweme's dark magic was no match for her purity and courage. The guardians defeated Ekweme, banishing him forever. Nia's powers were restored, stronger than ever before. Amaka, Chima, and Nia returned to Umudike, greeted by relieved and joyous villagers. The shrine's guardians had taught Nia a valuable lesson. Her powers were a gift meant to be used with love and compassion. However, the story didn't end there. A shadow still loomed over Umudike, as Prophet Odili, now more vengeful than ever, plotted in the shadows. He sought to form an alliance with other dark forces, determined to reclaim his lost power and exact revenge on Nia and her family. Nia, unaware of the looming threat, continued to heal and help those in need. But she couldn't shake the feeling that something darker was on the horizon. The village elders, sensing the unease, began to prepare for a battle unlike any they had faced before. As the days grew shorter and the nights longer, Nia's journey was far from over. The true test of her faith, courage, and the power of her gift was yet to come. She would have to face not only the external forces of darkness, but also the doubts and fears within herself. The future of Umudike and the balance of light and dark rested in the hands of the little girl with the golden touch. As Nia's fame grew, so did her responsibilities. She was often called upon to heal the sick and injured from nearby villages. One day, a message arrived from a distant land. It was from King Eze, whose son, Prince Obi, had fallen gravely ill. The king pleaded for Nia's help, offering her family protection and wealth in return. Amaka and Chima hesitated, knowing the journey would be long and dangerous. But Nia, driven by her desire to help, insisted they go. They prepared for the journey, gathering supplies and seeking blessings from the village elders. The journey to King Eze's kingdom was arduous. They crossed dense forests, climbed steep mountains, and navigated treacherous rivers. Along the way, they encountered various challenges, including wild animals and bandits. But Nia's powers and her parents' determination kept them safe. One night, as they camped near a river, they met an old man named Obina. He was a storyteller and a wanderer who had traveled far and wide. He shared tales of ancient heroes, powerful spirits, and the delicate balance between good and evil. His stories inspired Nia, reminding her of the importance of her mission. Finally, they reached King Easy's kingdom. The king welcomed them with open arms, and they were taken to Prince Obi's chambers. The prince was pale and weak, barely able to speak. Nia placed her hands on him and concentrated, her golden light enveloping him. Slowly Prince Obi's strength returned, and he opened his eyes, smiling weakly at Nia. King Ease was overjoyed and threw a grand celebration in Nia's honor. The kingdom's people showered her with gifts and gratitude. But Nia remained humble, knowing her powers were a gift to be shared, not flaunted. While in King Ease's kingdom, Nia learned of a dark force that had been plaguing the land. The king spoke of a sorceress named Adama, who had been causing chaos and suffering. Adama was once a healer like Nia, but she had turned to dark magic for power. King Isa asked Nia for her help in defeating Adama. Nia, Amaka, and Chima, along with a group of the king's bravest warriors, set out to find Adama. The journey was perilous, filled with traps and illusions. They finally reached Adama's lair, a dark and foreboding cave hidden deep in the mountains. Inside the cave, they encountered Adama. She was a formidable foe, wielding dark magic with ease. A fierce battle ensued. Nia struggled against Adama's powerful spells, but she remembered Obina's stories, and the strength that came from within. She focused on her love for her family and her desire to help others. With a final surge of golden light, Nia overwhelmed Adama's darkness. The sorceress was defeated, and her power was broken. The cave began to collapse, and Nia and her companions barely escaped with their lives. They returned to King Easy's kingdom as heroes. The king rewarded them with gifts and a promise of protection for their village. Nia, Amaka, and Chima returned to Umudike, where they were welcomed with open arms. Nia's journey had taught her many lessons about courage, love, and the true nature of her powers. She continued to heal and help those in need, always remembering that her gift was a blessing meant to be shared. But Prophet Odili, now more determined than ever, continued to plot in the shadows. He sought out other dark forces, forming alliances with those who shared his desire for power and revenge. Nia's final battle was yet to come, and it would test her faith, courage, and the true power of her gift like never before. As Nia's reputation continued to grow, so did the whispers of darkness on the horizon. Prophet Odili, now a broken man, fumed in exile. His alliances with dark forces deepened, and rumors spread of a powerful sorcerer hidden in the mountains. Odili's thirst for revenge drove him to desperate lengths. He had failed once, but he would not fail again. Meanwhile, in Umudike, the village thrived under Nia's healing touch. Her powers had grown stronger, and even the elders were in awe of her abilities. But with every passing day, Nia felt an unsettling force pulling at her. It was as though a shadow lurked, unseen but ever present. Nia's dreams became darker, filled with warnings of impending doom. One night she awoke with a start, drenched in sweat. She could feel it, a great storm was coming. One evening, as Nia sat by the village riverbank, lost in thought, an old woman approached her. This woman was different from any Nia had seen before. Her skin shimmered like the river water under moonlight, and her eyes were a deep ancient blue. She was no ordinary villager, she carried an aura of mystery. "Nia, child of light," the woman said in a voice that seemed to echo with the wind, "the darkness that once plagued this land is stirring again. It seeks to consume not only your powers but your soul." Nia's heart pounded. She had always known her gift was special, but she had never imagined it would attract such danger. The old woman continued. "Prophet Odili is not finished. He seeks an ancient force buried deep in the cursed mountains of Nkume. If he succeeds in awakening it, not even your golden light can save Umudike. Nia's mind raced. She knew she had to act, but she was also aware that she couldn't face this threat alone. Nia returned home and told her parents, Amaka and Chima, about the warning. Amaka, ever the protector, was reluctant to let Nia face such danger again. But Chima, seeing the determination in his daughter's eyes, knew that this was a battle she could not avoid. We must seek guidance from the elders, Chima said. The next morning, Nia, Amaka, and Chima gathered in the village square, where the elders sat beneath the sacred Iroko tree. The elders listened carefully as Nia recounted the old woman's warning. The eldest of them, Elder Uzo, who had seen many battles in his youth, spoke with a grave tone. The Nkume Mountains are no place for the faint-hearted. Legends say that ancient spirits of destruction sleep there. But if this darkness is rising, we have no choice. Nia, you must lead the way, but you will not go alone. The village rallied behind Nia. A group of brave warriors, including her father Chima, her mother Amaka, and several of the village's strongest men, volunteered to accompany her. Before they set off, the village women braided Nia's hair into a regal crown, symbolizing her leadership and strength. She wore an elaborate traditional dress with colorful patterns, her golden bracelets and anklets shining in the sun. The elders blessed the group, performing rituals to protect them on their journey. As they journeyed toward the cursed mountains, the atmosphere grew heavier. The path was treacherous, filled with traps set by ancient magic. At night, eerie sounds filled the air, whispers carried by the wind, and shadows seemed to move of their own accord. But Nia's light remained strong, guiding them through the darkness. When they finally reached the Nkumi Mountains, they found themselves standing before a massive stone temple, half buried in the earth. The air was thick with dark magic. Nia could feel it clawing at her, but she stood tall. Inside the temple, they found Prophet Odili, now a twisted shadow of his former self, standing at the altar, surrounded by dark spirits. His eyes gleamed with malice as he chanted an incantation. The ground trembled as the ancient force began to awaken. Nia, Odili's voice boomed. You think you can stop me? You're just a child. The darkness is stronger than your pitiful light. But Nia was not afraid. She stepped forward, her golden light flaring brighter than ever. You may have taken my powers once, Odili, but my strength is not in magic alone. It is in my love for my family, my village, and my ancestors. As Odili unleashed his dark spirits, Nia called upon the ancient guardians of the shrine. Suddenly, towering figures of light and energy emerged from the earth, spirits of old, protectors of the Igbo people. The battle was fierce. Odili's dark spirits clashed with the guardians, the air crackling with energy. Nia stood at the center of the storm, her hands glowing brighter than the sun. In a final act of desperation, Odili summoned the ancient force, a monstrous shadow that rose from the ground, larger than anything they had ever seen. But Nia, her heart filled with the love and protection of her people, stepped forward. Her golden light enveloped the monster, and with a single powerful surge, she banished it back into the earth, sealing it forever. Odili, stripped of his power, crumbled into dust. The temple collapsed around them, but the guardians shielded Nia and her companions. As they emerged from the ruins, the first light of dawn broke over the mountains. The journey back to Umudike was one of triumph, but also of reflection. Nia had learned that her true power lay not just in her healing, but in her courage, compassion, and the strength of her people. Back in the village, there was celebration, but also a deep sense of peace. Nia had faced the greatest darkness, not with brute force, but with love and wisdom. One night, the old woman who had visited Nia before appeared again in her dreams, but this time her face was filled with sorrow. Nia, your light has burned bright, but every flame must one day flicker and fade, she whispered. There is a prophecy, one that speaks of a healer who will save the village, but pay the ultimate price. Nia woke up with a start, her heart pounding. She knew what the prophecy meant. Her life had been destined for greatness, but also for sacrifice. She tried to brush away the thought, but it haunted her, lurking in every shadow. The village of Umudike flourished, but something sinister grew in the far mountains. Despite Odili's defeat, remnants of his dark magic still lingered in hidden corners of the world. A new force was stirring, an ancient and forgotten evil, older than the spirits themselves. One evening, a stranger arrived in Umudike. He was tall, with piercing eyes and a presence that sent shivers down everyone's spine. His name was Mazi Ugo, and he claimed to be a traveler seeking refuge. But Nia sensed something was off. His aura was shrouded in shadows. Mazi Ugo quickly gained the trust of some villagers with his charm and smooth talk, but Nia's suspicions grew stronger. She could feel the darkness he carried, though he masked it well. Late one night, Nia decided to confront him. She approached his hut, her golden light flickering softly in the moonlit night. As she stepped inside, Mazi Ugo stood waiting for her, a sinister smile curling on his lips. "You feel it, don't you?" he whispered. "The end of your journey is near, healer." Nia's breath caught in her throat. "Who are you?" "I am the darkness that has always been. Odili was just the beginning. You stopped him, but you cannot stop me. I am the end of all light." Without warning, Mazi Ugo raised his hand, and a wave of dark energy knocked Nia to the ground. She gasped for air as the shadows wrapped around her, suffocating her golden light. "You see, Nia, your light may be strong, but it's fading. And when it's gone, the village will be mine." Nia knew her strength was dwindling, but she also knew she couldn't let this darkness consume her village. With the last of her energy, she managed to escape Mazi Ugo's grip and ran back to her family. Amaka and Chima could see the fear in their daughter's eyes. "Nia, what's happening?" Amaka asked, her voice trembling. "There's no time," Nia gasped. "Mazi Ugo is not who he says he is. He's here to finish what Odili started." The village elders gathered quickly, but there was a heavy silence in the air. Ogbuefi Uzo, the wisest of them, spoke with a grim voice. "Nia, we have always known your light was powerful, but even the strongest fire can burn out. If this Mazi Ugo is truly the force we fear, there may be only one way to stop him." Nia's heart sank. She knew what he meant. The village prepared for the battle, and Nia, though weak, led them. As they marched toward the mountains where Mazi Ugo had retreated, a storm gathered in the sky. Lightning cracked, and the air was thick with tension. When they reached the mountain, Mazi Ugo stood at the peak, his dark energy swirling around him like a black storm. The spirits of the ancestors appeared, surrounding Nia, but even they seemed hesitant in the face of such raw evil. "Nia," Mazi Ugo's voice echoed through the valley. "You can't win, your light is fading, you are destined to fall." Nia stepped forward, her golden light flickering. "I will protect my village, no matter the cost." The battle was fierce. Mazi Ugo unleashed waves of dark magic, and Nia countered with her light. The spirits fought beside her, but the darkness was overwhelming. Every strike from Mazi Ugo seemed to drain more of Nia's energy. As the battle raged on, Nia could feel her strength slipping away. Her vision blurred, and the golden light that had once burned so brightly was now just a faint glow. In a moment of weakness, Mazi Ugo struck Nia with a final, devastating blow. She fell to the ground, gasping for breath as her light flickered dangerously low. Amaka and Chima rushed to her side, their tears mixing with the rain that now poured from the sky. "Nia, no," Amaka cried, cradling her daughter in her arms. Nia looked up at her parents, her breath shallow. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I couldn't stop him." But as Mazi Ugo approached, ready to deliver the final blow, something incredible happened. Nia, with the last of her strength, reached deep within her soul and called upon the spirits of her ancestors one final time. Her body began to glow with a blinding light, brighter than ever before. The spirits surrounded her, and the ground trembled beneath them. Mazi Ugo stumbled back, shielding his eyes. "What is this?" "This is the light of my ancestors," Nia said weakly. "It's stronger than any darkness." With one last surge of power, Nia unleashed a wave of pure, golden energy that engulfed Mazi Ugo. The darkness screamed in agony as it was consumed by the light. Mazi Ugo, the embodiment of evil, was no more. But the victory came at a cost. As the light faded, Nia collapsed, her body drained of all energy. Her parents wept, knowing that their daughter had given everything to save the village. The villagers gathered around her, their hearts heavy with sorrow. Ogbuefi Uzo knelt beside her and whispered, "You have saved us all, Nia." Your name will be remembered for generations." Nia smiled weakly, her eyes filled with peace. "I'm glad I could protect you," she whispered. "Tell the village to always remember the light." And with that, Nia closed her eyes for the last time. The village of Umudike mourned the loss of their beloved healer, but they knew that her sacrifice had saved them. They built a shrine in her honor, and every year, they celebrated the Festival of Light, a tribute to Nia's bravery and the power of her golden light. Though Nia was gone, her spirit lived on in the hearts of the villagers. Her story was passed down from generation to generation, a tale of courage, sacrifice, and the unbreakable bond between light and love.